I have no regrets whatsoever about what I said. And the reason is because when the Iranians have for 36 years threatened to wipe Israel off the face of the map, when they have invoked the term Holocaust to describe what they want to do to the Jews, when it's the Iranians who have said that they look forward to the day when they can kill all of the Jews, and they even said that they're glad that they're all bundled up in Israel because that's the way they won't have to go all over the world and hunt them down. I mean, these are horrible, hideous kind of threats that are being made. And the last time the world did not take seriously the threats that were made to the Jewish people, 6 million of them died. And this is why we have to look at these threats and take them seriously. This is no time for a Neville Chamberlain. This is time for a Churchill. This is time for taking threats seriously. And I have stood at the door of the ovens in Auschwitz 3 times. And every time I stand there, I am reminded that this happened because there were people across the world who just looked the other way and refused to believe that such a thing was even possible. Well, we found out it was not only possible, but it happened. 11 million people, 6 million of them Jews, murdered because people didn't take seriously the threat. I've just purposed in my own heart, I will not take these kind of threats lightly. And every time, of the dozens of times, and it's been dozens of times I've been to Yad Vashem, and I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Washington. The only reason we have those is to remind us that this did happen and that it could happen again, and to cause us to say never again. And that's still where I stand. And for that, I apologize for nothing and to no one. I read all 159 pages of the Iranian deal, and it is a bad deal. And I resent that President Obama says that it's either his deal or war. I'm afraid he has too few options. I have one, and that is to bankrupt the Iranians and their evil regime. They sponsor terrorism through Hamas and Hezbollah. They kidnap and murder Americans. And rather than making a deal with them, we should be exporting energy all over the world and take that market away from them so that Europe, Asia, and Africa are purchasing energy from us, not the Iranians, not the Russians, not the Saudis. This is how we disrupt the balance of power. It's not giving them $120 billion to buy conventional weapons and to accelerate to end up building a nuclear weapon. It's cutting off the supply lines to an evil regime like that.
How is that your chances to become the next president of the United States? What do you feel from your response to that?
You know, I'm convinced that people are looking for a leader, someone who has experience in actually governing, and governing in a very difficult environment. And those are some of the unique skills that I bring to this process. But I also believe people want a president who has moral clarity about issues, whether it's an economic issue or whether it's issue about peace in the world and taking seriously the threats, not just to Israel, but the threats to the United States of America as well.
Think about the Pollard situation.
Well, I'm delighted that Jonathan Pollard is apparently going to be released, and that's good news. He's more than served an adequate amount of time for what he did, and he should have been released, and I've been advocating for it. But I hope that this is not sort of a bald attempt by this president to try to appease and win friends among the Israelis, believing that if he lets Jonathan Pollard go, then the Israelis are sort of bound and determined that they have to support the Iranian deal. These are two separate issues. The president needs to let Jonathan Pollard go because it's the right act of justice. But he also needs, and Congress needs, to reject this Iranian deal because it is not in the best interest of the world.
Does it make sense?
Well, I think it makes sense that he has served now for 30 years. He's more than paid a debt to society for the crimes he committed. He's in frail health. There's no purpose whatsoever being served by continuing to have him incarcerated. And I'm delighted he'll be finally freed and be able to go to Israel.
Thank you very much. And good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you.